I need glasses for this.
According to the dive logs provided by OceanGate, you completed a successful Titanic wreck site dive on the Titan on July 19th, 2022 on dive 81. Is that correct?
Correct.
On the far right column, Lieutenant Steele, if you could scroll to that. I'm going to kind of ask you to take us through that, explain that dive, but I want to read for the record. It states, thruster controls mapped incorrectly, flashing lights, port battery drop, sonar drop, 4K drop, 2KH stuck, 419 after touchdown on Tubbs.
Mm-hmm.
As a mission specialist in the Titan for this dive, can you explain from your perspective on that dive what those notes mean and what happened on that dive and kind of take us through that dive?
Checks were done the night before. I was there to make sure the pilot did the checks. Checks were done that morning. I was there present for the checks. The propellers were fine. Then we turned off the, not we, but the sub was turned off while we did the briefing. When we came back to get on board, etc., we went through all the checks. Sub was turned on. And it was a surprise to all of us when we were taking off the platform that, I didn't even feel it, to be honest. It was a pilot who felt that there was something weird in his driving from the platform. At that point, we were already dropping, but he was texting back and forth to say, what was that? We just did our descent and decided, okay, at the bottom, we'll see what happened. I think we had no strikes or maybe one strike. That would have been obviously marked as a strike. When we got to the bottom, we landed very gently. Our procedures are that you usually start dropping weight early to slow down. We also were doing experiments to trap water in the column with Naskin bottles, so that also had to be done as you're dropping down. You watch out the luminescence in the window, which is great. And when we get to the bottom, to try to get neutral buoyancy, and as we start moving forward, we're not moving forward, we're turning. The sub is so big, you don't really spin. You're turning very slowly. But I think I described it on camera as, we're spinning. We're not spinning. We're moving very slowly, but it was obviously we're not going forward. So we sat down and discussed with the surface as best as possible with the comms, what do we do? We could have, in solutions that were discussed between all of us in the sub, was discussed, maybe we should turn, Alt Control Delete, but then that could have created some issues. So somebody suggested move the controller backwards, so one propeller goes forward and the other one was this way. If you do it the other way around, you go forward. And Scott, who was our pilot, did wonderfully at that. We landed 300 meters away from the bow. We could already see debris when we landed. Questions inside the sub were like, you guys want to go up? What do you want to do? And we all said, we're going. We're very close. And we did a dive. We actually put the pilot in the front dome at some point because it was easier for him to drive and to see. So we all took turns in the window with him. We did a dive, usually 3 to 4 hours. Gave some time to the scientist on board to do what he needed to do with the science and take pictures and explain to us, all the corals. And then we came back up. Lights were flickering. Yes, they were flickering, but you could see. I did not notice any sonar drop. We found the wreck with sonar, so know what that is. When all of us are in the window, in the front, the sub goes down and the sonar looks down, so you cannot see. So you have to place yourself, balance yourself in the sub in order for the sonar to pick it up. But I did not notice that. At the surface, the batteries did get low. You drive on the surface towards the boat, which drains a lot of the battery, but at that point you're back. And as we were parking the sub in the platform, it lost the batteries, or the remaining battery life drained. And that's what they call a 419, which is the quick numbers to divers are already in the water in case that happens. And as soon as you do a 419 and you announce on the radio 419, the divers come in, and they had a system where they could pull the sub into position. It was done in like 5 minutes, very quickly, and then we got on the platform.